Hey everyone. So, last episode I left off uh, during a realization that I had maybe kind of gone a slightly wrong direction as far as the pickups in the entire game. So, I am going with a unified pickup base that'll be used for all of the objects, and it'll just have all the same scripting within that one object. It should be a lot easier. That's pretty much where I left off. Let's take a look at things. All right, we got pickup model. I added a couple of things since the last video. The pickup icon. So like the icon that will be displayed if you have the pickups just displayed as an icon rather than an actual model, uh, which would is a feature of Quake 3 usually has that setting. Uh, Initial spawn delay and respawn time. So these are actually initial spawn delay is something I completely forgot about. I blanked on it, but it is actually necessary. A lot of items don't spawn for the first 20, 30 seconds of the match. Um, I don't know if that logic was in Quake 1. I'll have to do a little bit of research, but it's definitely that kind of stuff definitely does appear in Quake 3, and so on. Something usually like the Mega Health or something like that won't be there right away. It takes a little while to get like the quad damage or what have you. And the sound effects, so like the sound it makes when it respawns, the sound it makes when you pick it up. Is it a weapon? And if it is a weapon, then what class is the weapon? And then it points to QT weapon. Is it ammo? Does it give you ammo? If so, what class of ammo and how much? Is it a shard? Now this is just something I need to clear up before I go to is armor class. So shard affects how armor and health work. For one, it allows your health to go over the 100 maximum, and as a shard, it allows your armor to go above, uh, its default value, up to a maximum of 50 more than whatever you currently grab. So green can go up to 150 with shards, yellow can go up to 200, and red can go up to 250. These are not final numbers. Uh, and then when you have that, is it Mega Health? Mega Health needs to have logic in terms of how much damage whoever currently holds the Mega Health. That needs to be tracked. That needs to be tracked because Mega Health does not respawn until somebody's health has been reduced by 100 points. Um, and of course, how much you get from your health pickup. Is power up is incomplete because I think I'm going to actually, and the same thing with is Mega Health, because I think I'm actually going to have inventory uh, class just like I have with armor, weapon, and ammo. I'm gonna have a Mega Health class and a power up class that are inventory items, and I'll worry about that. First things first, I need to make sure that these basic things are in place and that they're functioning. So that's what I'm currently going to be doing. Enjoy. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so let me explain the problem. Well, let me explain the situation. Okay, the the basic idea is that when you overlap the object, I cast. Casting is awesome because it's also a pretty neat way to determine whether or not it's a player character. So I cast a QT character. So that means if I fire my gun through it, or if there's an explosion, or some kind of other object touches this object, it won't fire off anything. The cast will fail. So it's a really, really convenient way, possibly not the best, but it's a convenient way to actually check to see if a player touched it. If it turns out that the player did, then I fire off is weapon, is ammo, is armor, and basically all these do is they just check against destruct. If it is a weapon, then I add weapon. Here's the class. Dead simple, right? And then it's the same thing with ammo. Is it ammo? If it's ammo, so like the weapon I just picked up can be also ammo, and it'll give me ammo of a certain class or a certain type, and how much I'll get, and the pickup character will then get ammo and a weapon. Now, if it's armor, we have a different situation, which is a little trickier, and I'm not sure at the moment. I'm still trying to think about this. God, I swear, like the hardest part about this is just figuring out the optimal way to do things. This would be already done by now if I already knew that. It's the process of figuring things out. Not even on a technical level because I understand the how to do everything in blueprints, but what is the most efficient way to handle this? Okay, let me explain why armor is different. Let me drink coffee first. Okay, in games like Quake, when you have an armor pickup sitting in the level, you're not allowed to pick up that armor if your armor is above the armor that's sitting there in the pickup. And what this means is a strategy that's commonly employed, especially in Quake 1, probably more so in other games, is to literally fire a rocket at your feet to hurt yourself just so that you could pick that armor up and deny it to the other person. So, in this particular case, I have armor pickup just sitting there, but I can't actually grab from the class itself. See, it's only just utilities. There's no variables. Like, the only way that I know of at this point in time, oh, please somebody correct me if there's a way to get variables off of a base class, to know exactly how much armor this is so that I can compare it to how much armor the player currently has to be able to determine whether or not the armor should get picked up. So what I have right now is in the replace armor function on QT character. So I'm checking on the player right now. I'm having to go through this process where, okay, I store the pickup base as a local variable in the function. Then I determine if the player even has armor right now. If you don't have armor, then if it's not valid, then just pick it up. It doesn't even matter. Spawn it, set it to the equipped armor variable, and you're done. Which is funny because I'm actually doing this twice. I already did that. Okay, so there's more cleanup that's necessary. But with that said, on the character himself, it's easier for me to look. Oh yeah, actually I do have to do the check twice, as lame as it sounds, because if you don't have armor, it'll pop up as a null. Whatever. it's easier for me to check if you have more armor than the pickup after it's spawned. See? So it's if there's only a way to get the variables off of an object while it's still one of these purple guys, one of these purple base classes. If there is a way, somebody tell me, because I am having to do weird jump ropey shit right now. And I say jump ropey shit, I almost mean it literally. Look at these fucking things. It looks like a jump, like somebody's playing jump rope. There's fucking pins everywhere. It's a mess. I mean, this isn't nearly as bad as it can get, but anyway, I guess I'm rambling. So, if it turns out that you do have, if it is, if the armor that you currently have is less than or equal to, turns out to be true, then just replace your currently equipped armor with the new armor. Done. It should destroy it. Actually, yeah, that's right. Yeah, whether destroy actually happens is an important thing. This can't happen here. Yay. Yay. If it's not valid, then okay. That means that you currently have armor equipped. Make sure to destroy that object. Destroy the old one and then apply the new one. I'm just making sure that the old object is getting destroyed because there's going to be a whole bunch of objects just sitting at 000. I guess you can probably grab all that stuff with garbage collection between matches, but I don't want to rely on that stuff. I'd really rather just have airtight. Well, at this point, it's not airtight anymore. So, because this is just mess. This is a mess. There has to be a really slick way to do this, and I don't know. This doesn't feel very slick to me. It feels very clunky. So it turns out that if your armor is higher, then I just go ahead and I destroy the newly spawned object right away. So I create it, check it, and then destroy it, and then I run a function back on the pickup base to let it know that something happened, that it did its thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to figure out right now is what is the most optimal way to resolve each of these objects, because if I just run item picked up after each of these, then one pickup might end up resulting in like that pickup thing happening 3 times, which is a total disaster as well. Now there's some functionality if one thing to really, if you're working with blueprints, to learn about is this flow control tab here. Shit, what the hell is switches? Well, pay attention to these. I use branches like all the time. Those are your only if-else statements. You have gates, multi-gates. You have do once. Do once is something start closed, and then you have to run it. But then this ends up getting messy because you'll have to run a pin from like outer space, probably somewhere like all the way down here. I'll have to run a pin to reset the gate after the object respawns. I mean, this is probably how I'll end up ultimately doing it, where it goes kind of like, yeah, if it wasn't for these pin thingies, this would be even worse. Like, Okay, so it goes all the way around, comes back up, into reset. Alright. Which would then do the pickup logic. Your uh, your item got picked up, hide the object, and everything happened as it was supposed to. And I only did it once, and uh, wait for a while. Ugh, what a gross mess. Well, I mean this at least visually doesn't look beyond horrible. Okay, so that's the main problem that's bugging me right now. Is that and how I get around that. That's the thing that's bothering me is that I'm having to go into QT character. I don't even need this. Yeah, maybe this will work. Maybe this is fine. Yeah, this will probably work. Actually, I think I just solved the problem. I don't need to have anything super fancy going on right here. This is it. I have a do once, and when the item gets picked up, it plays the sound of the pickup. It does all that crazy stuff, and you could have the checkbox for all of these things. So armor, health, uh, power ups, and it'll go through each of these, and it'll only run this once. Yeah, makes sense. And on QT character, I'll just have to. It resolves it in a weirder spot. That's all. Okay. Maybe. Hey, you know what? For once, I started off not knowing what to do, and just talking it out loud actually kind of helped me figure it out. I guess. I don't know. I feel like somebody, one of you guys are watching this right now, and it's like watching a car wreck. And it doesn't count if you're a programmer. If you're doing C++, I don't want to hear because you're just gonna say this whole thing's a car wreck anyway. Perfect world people. Why don't you just do it in C++? Why don't you go to college for 4 years? I don't know. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. Okay. Anyway, don't listen to me. Back to work. Modifying health is a pain in the ass. The reason why is because there's an awful lot of things attached to health. For one, when you have to determine whether or not the health is damage, the health modification is damage, and if it is, then you have to figure out the damage formula for armor. How much does the armor go down based on how much how much health you have? Well, there's actually a one case scenario where I only have 10 armor and I have 160 health. And it's 10 red armor. Somebody shoots me with a rocket, dealing 100 damage. Do I get the full mitigation from 10 red armor? Even though the 10 red armor only equates to a very small percentage of 100 damage, taking a rocket to the face. do I get free armor, so to speak? Or I don't even know in my mind right now, off the top of my head, how I would even figure out how to figure that out. I wouldn't know how to figure out how to figure that out. That is too math for me. Uh, I'm gonna have to, yeah. Uh, so I only get 80% mitigation for 10 armor. Take 100 damage. Well, okay. So aside from that, we still have if it's so basically I do a branch right away. I say, okay, is is the modification below 0? And hopefully the modification is never actually just 0 because that means something went wrong. But just in this particular case, 0 damage is actually viewed as positive. Uh, in which case, now I also have to determine whether or not it's a shard. Right? Not shard or mega. I also have to account for mega as well, which is another case. So I have shard will, if it's a shard, then it will go to my maximum super health maximum. So that's 250 will be the limit that can happen. In which case, I believe I actually already messed up. I didn't even. So if shard is true, then there you go. If shard is not true, it's not a shard, and it's just a regular like stim pack, regular health, uh, medium or whatever, 50 health or 25 pack. I get up to 100 health, and then it won't go after that. So that's this max health variable. So I have those cases. And now I also have, which I guess I didn't even account for properly, is this special case where mega health has to be treated differently as well. Now mega health is a is a particularly interesting situation because I have to track the actual pickup base has to sit there waiting for a while as part of the damage formula. Any damage that gets through to the player has to subtract from a variable that's sitting on the pickup base, which is actually this guy right here, damage health tracker. Once that value reaches 0, I can then begin respawning the item. And it takes 20 seconds to respawn after this variable reaches 0. So, yeah, health is the most interesting of all of these because there's just so many cases. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that for a second. Oh, what's going on here? Yeah, if you don't have armor on, then don't worry about it. Then just apply the damage at face value with no mitigation at all. This is the simplest of all of them. This one requires nothing. It is merely erased to 0. Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. Okay, so we got this like really big, messy health thingy over here. Uh, I'm gonna just have to spend time to like figure out how to clean that up so that it doesn't look so awful. Like lines going all over the place. But given the current logic right now, if you look at the QT Mega Health, is now actually an inventory item. So whenever you have Mega Health, you can store 1 Mega Health. I was actually tempted to make it an array so you can control more than 1 Mega Health at once, but I decided, fuck that. You get 1 Mega Health, and if you destroy if you destroy one, if you destroy it, then it can automatically just say, I'm gonna respawn in 20 seconds. So I guess what I just said didn't really sound like it made any sense. If you pick up a second Mega Health, the first one's gonna respawn in 20 seconds. Uh, that's not really that big of a deal because for the most part, uh, you're not going to be dealing with more than 1 Mega Health unless the map is like really weird or the game mode is really weird. And I'll worry about that problem when it comes. So it's getting to about that 12 midnight mark. Actually, it's just a little after. But this is it. So the Mega Health is now set up as an item. I have just a little bit of organizing as far as this. This is a little weird because it says new param. It's not supposed to say that. It's running off of the Mega Health thing, and it says get pickup base. It says pickup base here. So new param is not accurate. That is a bug or something. Alright, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm enjoying my ramen. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna get some sleep. But once I get this health thingy sorted out, and I have the Mega Health set up, it's really at that point just a matter of making all the base objects again, the pickup objects. Everything's hooked up, and it'll just be a matter of making a whole bunch of child objects and checkboxing, doing all the correct checkboxes, and then just testing to see if they all work correctly. So tomorrow the pickups should be set up and functional. Alright, well, you're watching Castle Does, and Castle is currently eating ramen. Stay tuned for more. I'm thinking like I'll be running around grabbing stuff, and I'm gonna need like assets. Oh, well, anyway, stay tuned for more, and there you go. I suck at outros.